Hello and welcome to Take This TV, the television book club podcast, where each week we watch an episode or two of our favorite shows and we talk about them with our friends in the fandom. I'm Carmen Askernes, and I'm joined as always by the amazing Kimberly Woods. Hello.
Hey, hot potatoes.
And this season, we are watching Bridgerton Season 3, Part 2.
If you haven't watched part 1 and 2, do so now and then come back and join us because we're about to hop in. So, spoilers ahead.
Ooh, spoilers.
Woo, so the second part, Carmen, they just dove right into the sex scenes.
I loved it.
I was wondering if, were they going to make us wait? Were they going to draw it out? No, they gave it to us pretty quickly. Even though Penelope and Colin were still, having a little bit of
Drama.
yeah.
So you said that part 1, you didn't really feel like the passion was there for Penelope and Colin. Did you feel like the passion was there this time?
I liked the sex scene. I thought it was nice. Um, I still have a little bit of issue with Colin, um, because I love Penelope. Like Nicola killed it, and the character was amazing, and I liked getting to know her more. Colin to me was like back and forth on his emotions a lot,
Yeah.
and that made him like hard to get a handle on, hard to believe. So even sometimes when he was like passionate, then like the next moment he might turn around and like pull away again, because he wasn't sure about his thoughts. So compared to the other seasons, I don't know if he brought the passion as well as the other guys, I'm afraid.
So I haven't seen the other seasons, but I also was like, I don't know. I feel like Penelope is so good and amazing and awesome, and it feels like everybody around her is like always negging her, and they're always kind of rude to her. And there's even like that one scene when they're spoilers, like when Cressida
Cressida? Yeah.
Cressida, thank you, is blackmailing Penelope, and they're all trying to figure out what to do, and everyone's having conversations about what she should do, and Penelope's just in the background.
Yeah.
The whole time I was just thinking, like, where is the weird like animal guy?
Okay, that's another thing. I came into the second half thinking, okay, it's gonna be all set. Like Cressida can settle down with this guy and then our spare time like hang out with Eloise. But the bird guy vanished.
Poof.
I guess he's like out on a, safari or in the jungle or on a, whatever, wherever, looking for birds.
Yeah, he said he wasn't going to be around, but we didn't know him in like right now. So
Yeah.
he's gone.
He was gone. He was off the table. And Cressida, Cressida and Eloise's friendship, what happened? Like we thought, yeah, we were like, okay, maybe this is an opportunity. Like maybe Eloise is going to explore her sexuality that way. Maybe she's a lesbian, and they'll hook up. No, that didn't happen.
Oh my gosh. I feel like, so I haven't seen the other seasons, but just watching this first season, or this third season, it felt like the show kind of went out of its way to make Cressida the villain.
Yeah.
Like, is she that bad in the other seasons that you want to see her get like a comeuppance, or?
I mean, here's the thing. Like in this season, we're dealing with Lady Whistledown, who's been like calling out Baton and like upsetting all these people. And Cressida is also like a person who's like suffering, about to be thrown out of her house, have to go live in the countryside with her aunt. But we're not supposed to empathize with her? Why?
I was
Like,
rooting for her the whole time.
yeah.
I felt so bad for her because I was like, her family is awful.
And then Eloise, like, she kept trying to tell Eloise, like, hello, I might be marrying this old guy. Can you help me come up with a plan? And Eloise is just, like, ignoring her.
Yeah, with her own drama, yeah.
So that was pretty sad, and I feel like they really didn't resolve that character. And also, we got a lot of character growth for her this season because she has been horrible before. And then in the season, we saw her, like, reflecting on that at first and calling out Eloise for, being full of herself.
Mm.
So, I don't know. I was sad that it ended the way it did with her.
So we do know that, like, because of the internet, that Bridgerton was renewed for season 4 also. So do you think that they kind of did this to set up for a Cressida arc in season 4? Because it kind of felt like, oh, she's like off in
Yeah.
like her aunt's house. She's gone from the show.
We looked this up, and the next book is supposed to be Eloise.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess that makes
And
sense.
also, there was a Benedict book that happened that they kind of. I haven't read the books, so I don't know what happens in the Benedict book, and if we've already covered that somewhere in this arc.
Oh, this is based on books.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I
So-
didn't know that. I thought this was just made up for TV.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay.
So if it's going according to the books, then maybe we'll explore. But Eloise is off now in Scotland.
True, but she said she wanted to change the world and she wants to like go and travel. So I could see her like coming back at the start of next season, kind of like
That's
Colin
true.
did, and like she's all
Yeah,
worldly now. Well, I mean, she
That's
kind of
true.
is, but
I hope so.
yeah,
She is a fun character.
she is. Well, when Lord Kilmartin's cousin showed up, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a love interest for Eloise. But it seemed like Francesca was like,
Same. Okay, she's
speechless.
having an awakening right now. It's happening. Now that she's married.
Yeah, which I was like, yikes, because like they're cousins, so it's
Yeah.
not like there's no like
And
what are you
also,
gonna do with that?
Lord Kilmartin is a nice guy, and so it's like, oh no, how's that gonna work out?
It did like did you get the vibe that she wasn't really into him when
Yeah,
they were
they
okay.
kissed. I was like, what is happening? They're like zoomed in on her face, kind of, and I was like, that doesn't seem like a happy expression. Maybe she didn't like that kiss. Like, what is? Guess she didn't feel much.
Ooh. Yeah.
So, I don't know. Trouble in honeymoon paradise.
Has anybody ever gotten divorced on the show?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think so.
we'll see what happens.
We'll see. Oh, can I also say one? So I like the theme of this whole third season, which was kind of like to be yourself and accept yourself and like to step into your fullness. But what? Okay, we talked about like Francesca and Lord Kilmartin kind of being a little bit more eccentric and different and exploring that. I was a little bit, as a quiet person myself, upset with them trying to push them into boldness after like the theme of the season is be yourself. It was like, why can't you just accept these two characters as just like nice, quiet people and that's who they are and like appreciate that instead of like trying to change them in some way?
Yeah. The lesson is be yourself unless we need you to be somebody else. Change.
And also like Alice and Will too.
Oh
Because
yeah.
they kind of adapted to the Ton. Like he gave up his business
I
and
feel
they started throwing parties.
he gave up his business so easily because like last season it was like a big point of contention, and then in this season he was just like, oh, I guess I need to spend more time with my family, although they did guilt trip him of like,
They did.
your kids,
Yeah.
you're missing out on their lives.
Yeah.
And
You
I
missed
was
out
like,
on her
wow.
riding a horse.
Yeah.
I still think there was some way, like some middle ground they could have struck. Like maybe he still kind of owns the business, but somebody else is running it. So that it's not completely like you
All or
know.
nothing.
And then they threw the party, and I was like, okay, so maybe this is their new thing. But then later on in the season, of course, we had the Featherington sisters throw their ball, which Penelope funded sweetly,
Yeah.
which was really nice. But then that was like the extravaganza of the season, it seemed like.
I will say that like I think Penelope has a great arc in this season, but to me it felt like the people who have been really cruel to her didn't have an arc. Well, they kind of did, but it's like, I mean, we talked about last time how she's kind of like Cinderella,
Mhm.
and it's like Cinderella is going out of her way to be accepted by her mean and hateful family, and then they're just like slightly less mean to her, but they're still kind of mean to her.
I did appreciate, like, I do think the mother went on a nice arc. Like, I like that she was one of the first people to be like, actually, Penelope, you know, you held on to, you created like a position of power for yourself, which is
Yeah.
hard to do. And I like that she acknowledged that and she was willing to stand by her daughter if she wanted to come forward.
Yeah, that was sweet.
Whereas Colin was jealous.
Oh, Colin.
I was so glad he actually admitted that to her because I was like, he better admit that or I would be so mad at him.
Only after Cressida told Cressida.
Yeah.
Why do I keep saying that? Only after Cressida.
Curse it.
Yeah, Cressida. Only because she got banished. It's like, we don't know her name anymore. Who's that?
Also, her outfits were fabulous. She looked like a, peacock or.
Oh my gosh, that crusty old man. And he was like, you need to be wearing muted colors and brown or gray. And I
No
was
music.
like, how? No music. Yeah, like, how could this happen? And her mom, I feel like we're kind of jumping around a lot, but I feel like Cressida's mom is like, like her and Penelope's mom felt like they were kind of foils for each other.
Mm-hmm.
Because Cressida's mom acts like she's trying to help her daughter, but really is just trying to protect her house and her status. And then she completely abandons Cressida at the end. But man, her story was tragic this season. It was so
really
sad.
tragic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I was hoping she would actually I know it was wrong to like blackmail. Like, yes, that's wrong. But I was hoping there was some way somebody could help her out of her situation, and it just didn't happen.
I almost thought that when she was talking to Colin, that he would be like, "Oh, you know, we're the same,"
I
and
love that scene.
it was great.
That's what you get, Colin. He was like, "Let me talk to her. Be quiet, Penelope. I will handle this." And then it just backfired horribly for him.
Yeah, he had it coming.
Bridgerton's like, "We're the same." Cressida's like, "No, we're not. First of all, you're a man. Second of all, you're a Bridgerton."
The Bridgertons are like the family to be, it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that like Eloise's arc was really interesting this season. I feel like she has a lot of um character growth without, which I thought was interesting, especially as somebody who hadn't seen the other seasons. And I felt like really invested in her arc. But I was kind of bummed that like essentially the end of her arc was like setting up for the next season. But I mean, you know, it's a TV show, so it's like you gotta come back next time. I don't know what happens, but
And to their credit, they have so many characters that they're balancing.
there are.
I don't know how they do it. It's hard to like manage all of those characters, so they do a pretty good job. But you're right. I feel like some people didn't get as much development. Like, a Colin, I don't really understand. Like, I know he was acting a certain way towards the beginning of the season, and at the end, he was more his kind self again. But
Is he kind in the other season? I feel like Penelope says it a lot, but I'm like, I mean, you're all right, I guess.
he wasn't like that. Like, he wasn't like he was in the beginning of the season.
Oh,
I guess he was kinder. But to be honest, like, I never really paid as much attention to him.
Dang.
Sorry, Colin.
Dang.
Sorry.
Savage.
He's nothing against the guy and nothing against the actor. I think he does a phenomenal job with the character, but yeah.
He was just kind of like a background character.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's just kind of like, maybe because he was just kind of nice. You know, not that
was
was not
boring.
complicated. It was not complicated.
Nice and boring. What about Kate and what's her husband's name?
Anthony.
Anthony. What do you think
Yeah.
about their whole arc?
Well, I enjoyed their season a lot. That probably was like one of my favorite seasons. But seeing them again was kind of funny because they didn't have much to do. It was kind of like they were in their nice honeymoon phase and everything was happy. So they're lovely to watch, but it's not as interesting because there's no conflict.
Yeah, it's their happily ever
Yeah.
after.
Yeah, which is great. I'm glad they're having a wonderful time.
There was the like idea of Kate wanting to go and be close to her family,
Yeah.
and they decided to go to
Oh, that
India.
was sweet.
Yeah,
Anthony was like, "Yeah, we gotta go." So
that was sweet.
yeah, he got even more points in my book.
Yeah, it seems like he did with her too.
Yeah.
She alludes to a sister. Does she have a sister in the other?
Edwina?
Edwina? Okay.
Yeah, Edwina was like the initial focus of their season. Like she was the chosen one from the queen, the diamond. Yeah. And was she trying to be hooked up with some Anthony? Yeah, she was the one that's supposed to be with Anthony. And then that was like the scandal because the other two were like falling for each other, but like obsessed with their duty to their families, and they must put their families before, their feelings.
Dang.
So it was a nice fun.
Spicy.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, there's the Whistledown drama. What did you think
Okay.
about all that?
I kept wondering, like, come on, Queen. What are you gonna do when you discover who Lady Whistledown is? Like, this whole season, I was like, isn't that gonna ruin your fun? And so I was happy that we had that scene with Lady Danbury where she kind of says that to her, like, look, the game's gonna be up. Is
Yeah.
that what you really want? But I don't like now that it's out that, Penelope is Lady Whistledown and she's not using the name anymore, Lady Whistledown. I mean, the column says Lady Whistledown, but she's not signing that. Like, I kind of miss that, and I'm gonna miss Julie Andrews' like voiceover.
Hmm. I was a little surprised that the Queen actually went through with exposing Lady Whistledown,
Yeah.
especially after the scene with Lady Danbury. I thought like, oh, the Queen's going to have an opportunity to do it, and she's going to choose not to.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a part of me that's also kind of excited that they did because I wasn't expecting it.
Okay, yeah.
But I do wonder, since the show's not ending, like, are they still going to keep up with the Whistledown papers? Is it still going to be like a thing that matters?
I
Or
think they will, but now it might be Penelope's voice, which will be interesting. Because for so long it's been like Julie Andrews has been like, you know, kind of like when Gossip Girl had their thing and it was like,
yeah,
Kristen Bell, Julie Andrews was the lady. So it's gonna be a change.
I kind of liked her
Me
voiceover.
too.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm glad it makes sense with the arc. Like, it's like, okay, they wanted it to not be a secret. They wanted Penelope's character to come fully into the light, which she did. But also, can I just say for that moment too, I was hoping that she would walk into the center herself without being called out.
yeah.
Like, I wanted her to just, because she was expecting it.
It
She
was
had
her
written the
plan.
letter, yeah.
That was kind of like, yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like there are a lot of moments where I feel like Penelope's agency are kind of attributed to other characters or undermined, especially with Colin, because I'm ragging on him a lot, but
I
it's
know,
his fault. I just feel like there's so many times where she's apologizing to him of like, oh, you're so kind to me and like you helped me find my confidence and I love you and I want you to be the person that I know. And I'm like, this is so bad. Like you like Colin,
I know.
he's only mad at her because he's jealous of her being Lady Whistledown and because she wrote some stuff about him. And I'm like, come on, dude. Like,
Yeah.
this is supposed to be the person that you love, and you should love her for all that she is. And I mean, he's like, gallivanting around and sleeping around and stuff before they get together. But she never judges him for any of that. And so
Yeah.
I just felt like nobody ever really called him out on that.
Yeah. There was one thing that I forgot, which was I think when she wrote about him before at one point, like before this season, she like wrote about a different love interest that he had and kind of threw that person under the bus because she was jealous. And so I was like, oh shoot, oh yeah, that's right. So I get a little bit what he's been, but I agree. There's way too much coming from Penelope, like towards him, and not enough from him to her. I was like, you need to like grovel at her feet.
Yeah. And I mean, she did say she was sorry, like a
Like she
bunch.
kept saying it over and over again, and she had to like scream "I love you" at him to like get him to be quiet when they were on the street together.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
to get through to him.
That was a classic, like, Shondaland scene of, like, people yelling at each other and then they start making out. I was like, I've seen this before.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think that their romance is hot and like it's cute and sweet and all that, but I just feel like Colin should have gave a little bit more. But
What did you think about when he was like, when they were in the love scene and then she was like, I'm a mess, and he's like, you're my mess?
I thought it was cheesy. I thought it was super cheesy. I mean, I also was just like, when she was like, "Am I a mess?" and he said yes, I was like,
Yeah, that's what he said. That was it. Yeah, he said yes first, but you're my mess. And I was like,
backhanded,
better give more than that. You want to be working harder than that.
right? It's like,
Come
come
on.
on, man.
But I love the, like, as soon as I saw the blue silk in that scene, I was like, oh, here we go.
You knew what was happening.
You see? They draped it so beautifully on her. Anyway, I loved how they styled Penelope and like all the colors with her red hair. She just looked gorgeous this whole season. So
Yeah,
I loved that.
I loved it too, and that seems great. That seems hot. I mean, I think that it was like I think they did it in a way where it feels modern, but it also feels like really intimate, and it's something that like kind of pays off. I feel like if you watch it all together, you
Mm-hmm.
kind of get the payoff from the carriage scene. Um, but what did you think about Benedict and his thruple that he joined?
Benedict and his revelation. Oh my gosh. First of all, I thought it was funny that they kept cutting back to him over there having his threesome while the Bridgertons were having like a meltdown about the queen like suspecting their family as somebody being Lady Whistledown. So that was pretty funny.
He didn't care about any of that. Yeah.
I also thought it was funny that like I can't remember the lady's name that he was with, but she convinced him to do it in the first place. And then like he was so into it that he didn't want to settle down anymore and was like, you know what? I like this freedom. She's like, oh,
Yeah.
but she did. Yeah.
She caught feelings. Yeah.
Hmm.
I do like that they like had the scene of them talking about it, and it wasn't like combative or anything like that. It was just like people expressing
Yeah.
their feelings, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. I thought that was really fresh and new to see.
I
I
like
like that
that.
a lot. Yeah.
I like that too.
Um, I thought the guy, I forget the guy's name that was a part of the throuple. I thought he was kind of creepy.
Oh my gosh. There was that one scene where he was staring at Benedict and he didn't blink the whole scene. And I was like, is he a vampire? What is happening? He's just, how is he not blinking?
Yeah, I watched it, and when they started talking about the throuple stuff, I went back and watched it again, and I was like, is that supposed to be hot? Like, I don't know. I just thought it was creepy. I
It
mean,
worked for Benedict.
he was into it, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
But I mean, I figured that like when she was like, "Oh, I want you to meet my friend," I was like, "Oh, she's trying to get him to do group stuff."
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was a fun like little side arc.
Yeah, I like that too. I also like the moment when Benedict connected with Eloise on the swings. I feel like there was a moment before that was like that, and I like their relationship. It was
Oh,
sweet.
is that like their thing to talk on the swings? Oh, that's sweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one last question I have for you,
Oh boy.
Lady Bridgerton
Oh, and
and
Marcus.
Marcus.
I love them so much.
Yeah, I thought they were really cute.
I wanted more of the dancing. Like I was excited that they were gonna get to dance together. Yeah. I
Yeah,
was like, give me more of that. I want more of that.
I thought it was cute how she got all flustered when he asked her to
Yeah.
dance. Yeah.
I also thought it was cute that she was like, once I have my affairs in order and once you have your affairs in order, and like, they had to have it settled between Marcus and Lady Danbury. And also the revelation that happened that it was like something from when he was like 5 or I don't know, like a kid
Yeah.
that he had no idea like what he was doing to his older sister and the consequences of that, and she's held that for so long and they've never talked about it.
Yeah, that was a great scene.
Yeah,
I do love their dynamic too.
me too. I want to see more of them.
I know. I hope that we do.
Yeah.
I'm excited to watch the next season whenever that comes out. I'm definitely gonna go back and watch season 1 and 2 now
Yes, you
because
have to.
I'm invested.
It's so good.
Yeah,
I love this show.
I love this show too.
It really sucks you in.
Yeah, I was hooked. At first, I was like, "Oh man, royals and drama and all that kind of stuff." But then I was like, "Ooh, she said what about who? Like, what happened?" So I'm hooked now, and I have to know the origin of how it all started.
Well, thank you all so much for joining us. We're at Take This TV on Instagram and TikTok, and you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a review. Let us know your thoughts. How do you rank this season to the other seasons? And join us next time for At Take This TV. And remember, it's dangerous to watch TV alone.